are back. My name is Justin.
And my name is Dewey. And today we're going to be doing something totally different. We've never done anything like this on a YouTube channel before, so we're super excited to do this video for all of you today. As many of you know, the LGBT community, we've been through so much since the beginning of time, but especially in the transgender community, still to this day, still have to go through so much bullcrap, and people still have difficulties trying to understand
And conceptualize our community.
Exactly.
Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Kamilla, and
who's a proud trans woman.
Yes, and she has worked deliberately towards finding herself and being the best version of herself. She has such an amazing story from moving with only $500 in her bank account from the panhandle of Florida all the way here in SoCal. And we know living here in SoCal can be so expensive, but she had a dream and a vision that she was going to make a life out here and start anew and start fresh with her true self. And so without further ado, here is Kamilla.
Kamilla, our first question for you is, what are some of the internal struggles that transgender individuals still have to battle in our society?
So some of the internal struggles that trans people have to face, not only in today's society, but in general, like internal and external struggles. One of the things is accepting that you're trans. That's a really big thing, especially today. A lot of people are comparing themselves to cis women or cis people.
Right.
And the thing is, we're not cis, or we're never going to be cis. We're transgender, and it's a label that we should love and accept.
Right.
People say, well, it's not about the labels. It's not, but for the LGBTQ plus community, it is about the labels. And we need to accept it, unite over it. And the thing is, when you accept that, the world opens up. The world opens up doors when you start to accept and love who you are. And since I've done that and identify as a trans woman out and proud, the world really has opened up doors, and the community has been more open for me. So that's an internal thing. And then the external thing is with the, some people don't really understand trans people.
Right.
Or they think that we're just dressing up for the hell of it, or confused. And the thing is, everyone in life has their own things. We all go through things. Every single person in life. This is just another thing that people have to go through. Transition is one of those things. And when people go through things, what they need the most is love and support. So when someone does that, either in the family or friends, it means the world. And so that's the external thing, is just pushing your ego down and trying to help someone else, and just accept that person and love that person and see how it goes. That's the biggest thing, and that's the biggest thing that anybody in the LGBT community asks for and that we need, is love and support.
It's really important to have these labels. I've had people argue with me saying that labels are actually a bad thing and they're more divisive than anything, but being in the LGBT community ourselves, and you included, it's everything in it. And it's not that we're compartmentalizing ourselves from the rest of the world, but it's us honing into our identity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I really like how you brought that up. So what has been some of your most favorite parts of your transition?
My favorite parts of transition? Gosh, I would say getting surgeries. And that's so typical, but transition is really hard. So there's not really a favorite part. The only thing I've been really excited about is surgeries, surgical things. That's what I've looked forward to. That's what I've been excited about. But surgeries is something that I think any trans person looks forward to, because it's a confirmation, of who you are.
Who you are, exactly.
Right.
You feel comfortable in your own skin.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you can start living your life authentically. To see the person in the inside is the outside, and that's
it all comes together. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sure it must be, such an exhilarating feeling, right? Whenever you look at yourself in the mirror, I'm yes, this is finally me. I get to be who I am.
It feels appropriate.
So speaking of transitions, can you walk us through hormonal therapy and what it's like from the beginning, and then it's an ongoing process. So could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Okay. So hormonal therapy is something that every trans person has to go through, whether you're male to female, female to male. With me, it started 6 years ago. I'm 26 now. And
still glowing.
Thank you. It's the makeup. I started hormone therapy 6 years ago, and I started it in Florida with, another thing I want to say is that if there's no resources around you, I had no resources. Literally no one was trans around me, or nobody was going through the same thing. And I came from a small town. So I asked around of people that did some kind of hormones or whatever. And so I got that from an OBGYN. It was a male doctor who was giving hormones to cisgender women. Cisgender means that you were just born a female or male and you identify that way, so you're cisgender. And I needed a psychologist's letter, because this was before, in LA, people are very fortunate, and in New York and places like that, that you don't really need a psychologist's letter. Even though I feel they want people to take their time with transition, especially with hormones and things like that. Some of those things are irreversible. But that's pretty much what it is you take the medical form of, estrogen or testosterone, and you put that into your own body to try and get it between the opposite sex's normal blood levels. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for shedding some light into the whole process.
Yeah.
I'm sure that this will help out so many young trans individuals who are going through this and are struggling with it. So really, really do appreciate you answering these questions.
So a lot of people are very confused about what post-op is and between pre-op and post-op. So can you elaborate on that, please?
So in the trans community, there is pre-op, post-op, and non-op. What pre-op means that when we're referring to that, like, people are very into, especially in today's society, sex is a big thing. And when people think of LGBT, they don't see them as people. Sometimes they think of, oh, you're lesbian, so they see, like, vagina on vagina, or they say, or gay. That's how a lot of people process it who aren't in the community and in general. So what piques their curiosity about trans people is that we can change that. Even though you still always have the same part, you can fashion it into different looks. You know what I mean? Pre-op means that down there you still have your assigned sex or genitalia, right? And then post-op means that you got the surgery to make it, like, whether you have a vagina when you started and you want a penis, so you make it look into a penis, or you have a penis when you started and then you make it into a vagina. Right. Non-op is people that don't want the surgery for different reasons. And I also talk about what I am, if you're curious at all, what I have down there. It's also on my channel. And there's a video about it, and hopefully it can, like, be insightful to whoever's curious.
So the next question that we would like to ask you is that a lot of trans individuals, they go through what's called body dysmorphia. Again, a lot of people don't really understand what that is. Could you please elaborate to our followers or anyone who's watching this video what body dysmorphia is and how do you cope with it?
What body dysmorphia is, it's pretty much what trans people, why they transition in the first place, because they have body dysmorphia. And that is when your body doesn't align with what you want to be in your head, what you see in your head, or how you feel in your heart. I remember the youngest feelings was going to the beach. Like, I still don't like going to the beach, but especially when I was younger, and I didn't even know what trans people are or even existed at this time. And this was back in Florida, I want to say, when I was like 9 or 10. And all the other boys, my mom would take us to the beach, and my cousins were there, whoever, friends, and they would have their shirts off, the little boys, and just, like, walking around. And I remember, it was so weird talking about it, because I just remember, like, I told my mom, like, I don't feel comfortable taking off my shirt. I was like, it feels really weird. And then my mom's like, what parents go through is just, like, they don't want to be embarrassed, or have their child singled out. So my parents definitely did tough love, and they, like, forced me to take off my shirt and stuff like that. And I'm just like, and then once it was off for, like, a few minutes or an hour or two, I was just like, okay, I guess this isn't so bad. But that's when my first experience of body dysmorphia is at that age, going to the beach. And I hated the beach. I never liked going to the beach. And I would see girls, like, with, like, the bikinis or whatever. And I was just always, like, thinking, like, I never thought, like, oh, that's what I want. I just, like, oh, I wish I could wear that. You know what I mean? Like, how cute is that? It's so cute. But I didn't know that it was transgender. I didn't know that was a transgender thing. I didn't know that until after I graduated high school.
Right.
And that's pretty much what body dysmorphia is. So you don't feel like the body you're assigned at birth is the body that you want to be, have later in life. And that's why you get surgeries, all that stuff, pre-op, non-op, all that stuff.
The last question that we would like to ask you is, what are some misconceptions about transgender women and men?
I say the biggest misconception that transgender women and men get is that we're just doing this for fun, or that, like, most of us are, like, perverted or whatever, that we're getting shits and giggles from this,
No.
Absolutely not, darlings.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
We do this to feel good about ourselves and our lives. We only have one life and one skin, and we try to feel, more normal and complete.
So that concludes our interview for today with Kamilla. Kamilla, thank you so much for stopping by and for answering our questions, and for being nothing but incredibly insightful, and just shedding light into our community, specifically your community. Thank you so much for being here
and being so honest with us, and of course the rest of the internet, whoever does decide to watch this. I do feel as though
I'm sure that this will definitely inspire and will help so many people within the transgender community to embrace themselves and to love themselves for who they are, and just know that you are certainly not alone.
And I'm really hoping that this also is a really eye-opening video to parents, to children that are going through this, for even adults and older folks that are going through this as well. Right. I'm really hoping that this touches on a wide variety of people, or touches a wide variety of people, and I definitely feel as though Kamilla is definitely a very articulate woman, and her channel is definitely worth watching.
Final thoughts, what would you like to say to your future followers?
Well, I don't know if you guys are to subscribe. If you do or you don't, thank you so much for watching. These people are so amazing. Justin and Dewey, like, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it, and for being an ally to the transgender community, and really, you know, focusing on community. Like, you guys are so amazing. You're amazing singers, performers. I wish you the best of luck in there, and doing that, I see nothing but great things coming in. Just thank you for having me. I'm really happy, and this is what community is about, you guys.
Right. So with that being said, also, we actually have another video where it's flipped. So basically, she is going to be the one to ask us questions
on relationships, on marriage, and
the whole 9 yards.
We are going to go deep, and we're going to definitely go ahead and answer those questions candidly and honestly. So go ahead and go to Kamilla's channel to subscribe. The link will be down below in the description. You can also follow her on Instagram as well. So with that being said,
remember to spread nothing but love and positivity into this world, and be sure to brighten someone's day today. With that being said, we're gonna go now. Bye!